All right, everyone, welcome back. Today, we're working on an old car again. Seems to be a theme with us. We'd like to find these old cars and keep them on the road even though they're trying to die. This episode is going to be a little different than what we kind of normally do. We've been really busy with Project Baja Blast, back from Clap, but this car has been just lingering in the background. This car is my daily driver at the moment, so anything I do to it right now, I have to get done so I can get to work the next day. And if you haven't noticed, it's nighttime. I have about 12 hours before I get to work. So anyone who might know these older BMWs, the M52 or M54, they have this. Now this is called the Vanos system. Don't know what Vanos stands for, it's German. But essentially it's oil pressured variable valve timing. And a very, very common issue with these engines are the seals inside of here. They get old after tons and tons of heat cycles and they shrink. So like, assuming that means that these can't build enough pressure to actually clock the timing on both the cams, and that leads to low power, low torque at low RPMs. It can affect your miles per gallon. And the thing I've been dealing with the most is cold starts. So every time I turn on this car in the morning, at first it will run okay, and then the RPMs just start dropping and then come back up, drop, come back up, and then the engine shudders, and then the engine shudders. And they'll do that for a little while, and then once the engine warms up, that kind of goes away. But it still happens whenever I go under like hard acceleration, and this is usually like under 3,000-4,000 RPM. Once it's above that, this thing just runs like butter. So there's been a few things kind of nagging at me of what it could be. A pretty simple one is the mass airflow sensor. That could possibly still be the problem. I haven't changed that out yet. When I took it out, I believe it's aftermarket, and something kind of common with these engines, you don't really want to put aftermarket electronic parts on it. So I'm hoping that's not what it is, but at the same time, if it is, cool. But until then, we're going to replace these seals so that way we know this Vanos is in good shape, ready to go. It doesn't rattle or anything, so I'm not going to be dealing with the internal pieces, only the seals. And since I was already here, on this side of the engine, normally there's an alternator, airbox, everything else. The boots, they had tears in them as well. I've already replaced one and drove it around, hoping that would be the fix. Of course it wasn't, because that'd be too easy. So I got the rest of them. We're going to put those on tonight. But this thing, this whole piece right here, this is the oil filter housing. And another really common failure point of gaskets is kind of in this area between the block and this piece, is that it leaks. So this gasket is way, way, way dead. So we're gonna replace this while we're already here, and replace the belts. So that's kind of what we're up to tonight. So just follow along. Hope you all have been having a good night. I know I kind of have. We'll see once we get this thing turned back on if I have a good night. And we'll just get this thing started, so let's go. So as you just saw in that class-leading time lapse, we got the oil filter housing out. It seals up as the oil filter sits on top, goes down. These channels go somewhere, I'm not really sure, but that's supposed to seal. When it doesn't seal, you can see it just starts leaking all over this engine. Like there's just grime. It's not in good shape. I don't know if it's ever been replaced. If it has, maybe once. I've been worried about the actual oil pan gasket. That's probably still bad, but I think this was a majority of the leaks. This is just disgusting. So I ended up just kind of taking it and pulling it away. So let me grab it real quick, get a better idea of what we're working with. There's a gasket in here, and over time, with everything else, it gets old, heat cycles, and it shrinks. So this was pretty much just metal on metal contact. And luckily, I have a new gasket, so we'll get that replaced, get this cleaned up. I got a new line right here for the Vanos, the main reason why we're here tonight. Get that replaced and pop it back in, and it should be good. So now I'm getting myself all situated. Next thing on the list is this. So the Vanos is held on by a lot of little 10mm nuts. There's a single bolt there, and then this is a little double treble, has a hook. So it's a 10 comes out, and then a 13 behind it, I think. So Before I get those out, there's these little caps, 8mm hex. I think that's what that is. So those come out, pow pow. And then inside of that are gonna be 2 more hex or Torx nuts. And a very important thing there is that they are reverse thread. So whenever we get there to take them out, we'll be actually going to the right to loosen them. And they're just held on, I think like maybe 7 foot-pounds. They're really delicate. So we'll crack those, get those out. These are known for just gushing out oil. So I'll try to put something there, take it out, and then we'll show you what it's like out of the car and start pasting some seals. Woo. This one, I lied. Looks like it's 12. There we go. And to anyone who works on these cars, you'll notice that I'm not doing anything with the coolant. I'll go ahead and just say it. These bearings are shot. I just can't touch this right now. The next step on this car is to refresh the cooling system. I'm in the middle of getting all the stuff, fan, clutch, fan, hoses, water pump, thermostat. I want it all to be done, but tonight, that's just not in the cards. So we'll dig back in here again. It'll become second nature. Okay. Yeah, these don't take very much effort. All this stuff is held on like barely any torque, so hopefully we remember that. I paid for 190 horsepower. I want all of them. Then this one should just really be bad, because you know, gravity. There we go. That wasn't bad.
Not horrible.
It's been sitting for like a day. It's oil. I did it like 2,000 miles ago, so it shouldn't be horrible. So in here are the reverse threads. We're going to get some needle nose pliers and take out those little caps in there. Just kind of grab, do a little twisty twist, and that's like no effort. There we go. Okay.
A little bit more on that
Yeah,
one.
that one had some oomph. Sounded cool. And I have little replacements for these and new gaskets as well. I don't know how much these go out, but I have them, so I'm going to use them. Okay, so these are the T30 and clockwise, so this will go against everything. Weird. And like I said, the torque on all of this is just delicate foot-pounds.
We're still in foot-pounds, so not inch-pounds, you don't think?
We're still in foot-pounds,
Okay.
but at the very bottom. I think everything, we're in Newton meter land here. So I think it's, I don't know, like 7 pounds. It's light.
Okay. So interesting. This is my first time actually being under the hood of a German car.
It's the most I've ever done to one. I've only done oil changes and coil packs. So this is new to me too. Come here, little buddy. Oh. We're not animals here. There we go. Okay. Something cool with these, if you don't crank over the engine, you don't have to deal with the timing. So I've seen things where you need like all these weird tools and whatnot to keep everything in time, but it looks like this one, it stays in time if you don't bump it.
I cannot get over how outrageous this looks for 221,000 miles.
Right, yeah, I never mentioned that. Yeah, there's no sludge. Like, it has some varnish on it, but that's because it's old. But the cams look really good. I'm hoping they didn't replace the Vanos, because then if that's in good shape, then I'm gonna cry. Because then that means something else is wrong. Yep. And there's like a little metal gasket. There's keep gabagooing, but yeah, there's a little metal gasket we'll get later. So. Okay, now we got the other part out. So we got him, and we got him. So just kind of wanted to do a look over. I just took this off the car, and I can't handle how clean this is. And looking at all the stamps, they all say 1999 on them. So that one says 2000. So 99, 99, and 2000. So this seems original to me. I don't think this has ever been messed with. So now we'll go ahead and start taking these out. I'm gonna do them one at a time. We'll probably just do a time lapse, and then after it's done, I'll kind of explain it and go from there. So, ta-da! just got the bolts out. I'm gonna do one side at a time. You probably saw on the time lapse, this just had a pool of oil in it, so I just turned it over and let it just kind of dump out. But I wanted to kind of show how loose this is. This should not have this much play in it. My understanding of how this variable valve timing works, it's completely done by oil pressure in these solenoids. What happens is I believe these just push in and out, and that should change the cam timing. And how these Vanos systems go out is just like what I explained in the oil filter housing. There's these little gaskets here and one here, and this is kind of like a keeper, and then there's an O-ring behind it, and it's completely flat. So any oil pressure this is trying to build is just blowing right through it, I think, and it just causes it not to be able to change its timing. So this car suffers from no low-end torque, but high-end power, it's fine, and I think this is the cause. And with how clean this was, I was a little worried that someone had already been in this and changed these seals, but it does not look like it. This just kind of whoop, and I can twist it, and it should be a solid seal. So good and bad. Good that I can fix it, bad that I had to do this, but it is what it is. It's this, so we'll get it done. All right. Now that we have the seals done, I'm just kind of cleaning this out real quick. I'll put more oil in it, but what you want to do is with these new seals, one at a time, I'll pop it into this little cap and let it sit for about a minute or two, and that kind of seats it to this area. And then I'll pull it out, plop it in, same thing, let it sit for a while, and then once it's done, oil up everything, put it back together, and then we'll just do the same on the exhaust. That's what I'll do next. There we go. This one has a spring in it. Woo! Okay, time to do the exact same thing here. Just take out the old washer or old O-rings and put in the new ones. I think we got the seals done. We're good. I got these, but they're metal. Those look just fine, so I went ahead and didn't go the extra step and put those in. New seals for the caps, I'll get those replaced. And we'll get it back in the car, and then we'll tackle the oil filter housing next. That should just be take out the old gasket, put in the new one, and then put it back in the car. Anyway. Back at the engine, I put a new metal gasket here. Figured I'd replace that one. 1 out of 3. So let's just kind of see if we can't figure out how holes work. Yay, there we go. There's like little dowel pins on each side, so that most time means it only fits one way. So, ooh. Voila. This will stress you out.
Vanos rebuilt and installed.
Yeah, okay, that makes me happy. I forgot to take that off on the car. So this is the oil feed to the Vanos that we just rebuilt. I have a new line right here in this mess. So that'll get replaced. This will get replaced. And then I got all new bolts. They're like those, but shiny. That's rock hard.
Makes 2 of us.
Okay. did nothing. I don't know why I've relied on these super cheap cutters for so long. I don't even know where I got them. If it wasn't the Dollar Tree, I send them back. Because they are very lame, but I don't have better ones. There we go. Okay.
Ooh, thing is tired.
Yeah, it was pretty much plastic at this point.
Broke right off.
So the trick is to push it up while not marring it at the same time. That shouldn't be a problem, right? Whoop. Whoop. Almost. I think this service was probably right at the due date. Perfect time to do it. You're probably too busy in 2012 to fix it. I did it. Is that when Party Rock Anthem came out? Maybe? LMFAO? Turned down for what? There was a lot going on.
Yep.
No one's thinking about this gasket.
Yeah, no thinking about this gasket.
Just thinking about them drone strikes.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to just like get on it and press it and then use my finger as a counterweight, and that's fine, but then it starts
Just
going full ogre on me and these layers. There we go.
Boom.
Whew. Okay, that wasn't fun. I'm just gonna clean that out and then put this one in. Sweet. So that's on. It's pretty basic, and if you can somehow get to like this level, I'll try to lift it up.
There we go. Yep, I see that.
Yeah, so that should seal a little bit better than that.
That flat
Than
boy.
this piece of plastic. Yeah, that was intense. Okay.
Man. Sweet.
Yep, so that's done. One thing I wanted to point out while I was doing all this, since this was so much, like just so covered in grime, I thought this was a cast iron engine. I was wrong. Apparently dual Vanos 528s or M52s are aluminum blocks, so fun fact. Whoops.
Learn something new every day.
Right. I don't know these things. This is how I'm trying to figure it out. Just doing stuff. Okay. Cool. Air-cooled alternator. Pretty neat.
She's back in one piece, man.
I got the wrong cover. It's supposed to say M5. It's in the mail.
It's like 2 a.m., so sorry for slowing down, guys. Yeah, it's a school night. It's Monday night. We both got work. But project, I think, is done.
And we'll see.
We'll find out in a
Shakedown
second.
will be tomorrow. I have to be on the highway. It's 25 miles one way, so we'll see. All right, let's see if this son of a bitch will run.
Oh man, that was an adventure, guys. Hell yeah, baby.
Okay. That while it's hissing, you're hearing this secondary air pump, so that should go away in a second.
Make sure we're not dumping anything. That spot was there before, don't worry about that. Should be the last oil spill this thing has for a minute. She's purring, and she's not stuttering.
So far, so good. That's it. All you need is 6 hours in a dream.
Can do anything.
Yeah, Vanos rebuilds.
Hell yes.
Till next time, everybody. Like and subscribe.